What's up, everyone? Today I want to give you 10 tips on how to plan a church Christmas concert. This is a wonderful time of year, and who doesn't want to go to a church Christmas concert at Christmas? I think everyone should. Number one, collaborate with your pastor and leadership team on the vision for the Christmas concert. First thing you need to do is decide, what do they even want? Do they even want one? The first time we did one, it was kind of a last minute thing. It was like the month before, and the pastor was like, "Hey, I think we want to do a Christmas concert this year. Do you think we can pull it off?" And somehow, by the skin of our teeth, we ended up pulling it together somehow. But the next year we decided to have a little bit more planning, and I think it gets better over time when you put a little bit more effort into it. So these are some of the things I learned. To start, you just got to start with a vision. One of the things that you want to find out is, how many concerts are we doing? Are we doing multiple days? Are we just doing one big one? Is it casual? Is it formal? Are we able to bring in any special guests to have the little extra special sauce? And when are we going to start promoting it? These are all things you need to start with the leadership team, kind of nail those down, and then you can move into the next part of the planning. Step number 2 is contact everyone who's going to be a part of this, from your production team to your soloists. You got to make these confirmations. Sometimes I have a soloist in mind and I really want them to do a song, and then find out they're out of town or something. So, you really got to confirm the people that you're going to be working with, that they're going to be there, and then you can begin to build the vision around the people that are going to be there. Number 3, start practicing earlier than you think. Like I said, that first one that we did, we had like a month to plan, and it was rough. We pulled it together because, we really hustled. But if you start earlier, it's more of a slow grind, and you can still have a great result, and it'll be better usually the earlier you start. Usually October is probably the latest you want to start, honestly, which is crazy. It's crazy to think October, already starting to plan for Christmas. Maybe you even start the planning earlier, but practicing really starts in October for us nowadays. So start practicing early is number 3. Number 4 is schedule the practices early so that the people can prepare, and don't be afraid to adjust the times around people. Sometimes I like to give them schedule ahead of time if possible. This scheduling is sometimes one of my weaknesses, but what I can do is usually give them a schedule some weeks ahead of time, and then if people can't be there, we can have time to move it and still make sure we have the practices that we need in order to pull the concert off effectively. Step number 5 is pick a set list. This is sometimes the hardest part, is narrowing down all of the songs that you have in mind that you might want to do, and then picking the ones that you're really realistically going to be able to pull off in the time frame of the concert. Don't completely reinvent the wheel is one of my things that goes along with this. That first year that we did the concert, when we only had a month to prepare, I was like, okay, what have you already done here? I was kind of new to the church. And so we had to just kind of pick some songs from their archives that they've already done. Everyone's already familiar with them, even though I might not be. I can learn it, but pick some new songs, but also pick some songs that you've done before, so that it's just not as daunting task. That's usually a good strategy. Another rule is, like, don't do more than half the concert of new songs, right? First of all, it'll be a lot for the congregation to take in. And then second of all, even for us that are performing them, that's like a lot of new material. So you don't want to do more than half. Half even is a lot, but you want to mix in fresh new songs, but don't be afraid to do some songs that everyone's already familiar with. All right, before we move on to the second half of this video, make sure you give it a like if you're getting anything from this video, or if you've liked some of my other videos in the past. Feel free to subscribe to stay in the loop for my future videos. It really helps, and I appreciate it very much. Step number 6 is provide resources for your team. This will be huge for them, such as chord charts, MP3s for them to listen to, vocal parts, sheet music. Whatever you can do to support your team members, that will be great. Not everyone is amazing at playing by ear. Some people need chord charts and MP3s and sheet music and stuff like that. So try to give them more resources than you think they need, and that'll be about enough. Usually people will tend to look for stuff on their own if it's not there, but I try to provide them with as much as I can, because I know what versions we want to do. This will help to make sure everyone's on the same page with listening and practicing the same version of the song. Because we all know there's millions of versions of Silent Night or whatever Christmas carol You don't want someone to be practicing an a cappella version when we're doing like a completely, rock version of the song or something like that. So make sure that everyone's listening to the same version and communicate that. Get them all the resources that they will need, and that will be huge. Number 7 is set up your backing tracks. Okay, this is a big deal. Make sure you get the backing tracks that you need. Not every song might need one. Some songs you can just need a loop. Some songs are fine to go without anything. There's some songs that are just more free flowing, and that's okay too. So kind of like decide which backing tracks you need and get the ones that will fit your song. And then if you're doing any adjustments, make sure you do those adjustments to the backing track as well. There's so many things to keep in check, from the chord charts to the backing tracks. Everything's got to be matched up for this all to come together. A lot of times on a normal Sunday, it's fine if you have to adjust a backing track at the last second or whatever. But if there's 10 to 15 songs, you don't want to have to make those adjustments at the last second if there's several tracks that need help. So you want to kind of adjust those ahead of time if possible. Number 8, make sure there's a good variety of selections. In our concert, we have a choir, we have a praise team, we have trios, solos. Our kids choir even opens for us. This is good for 2 reasons. You can practice at separate times with the different groups, so you can make sure everyone has a chance to practice. And it's just a better variety for the Christmas concert in general to have different groups. Good instrumental pieces are also a nice touch. This year we are bringing in Dr. Littles, who teaches at Urshan College, where I also teach, and he's going to be playing some trumpet along with some of our songs, as well as doing a solo of his own. And that'll just be great because, it's something that's out of the ordinary, and it's just that extra magic touch for Christmas. Number 9 is collaborate with your production team on any special elements that you are wanting to incorporate. This is the time of year where you can really push a little harder than you normally would, and a lot of times your production team is going to be excited to just go above and beyond and do something extra special to support the cause and the vision of the church. And no matter what size your church is, you can always take it up a level. You don't have to compare yourself to the biggest church in town or the biggest church in the country or whatever, but you can always just make it the best that you can do. That's all God cares about, is bringing our best to the table, and that's what matters. Before we get to our last point, I wanted to let you know I also teach piano lessons through Zoom if you are wanting to learn. At this moment in time, I do have openings, and the setup is pretty much like this format that I have here on YouTube. So you can see my hands. You can also see the MIDI information, the blue notes above it. And you can also see my face, and so it's pretty much the same setup, which is great. How cool is technology these days that we could have a lesson all the way across the country, no matter where you are, maybe even across the world. I actually taught a lady over in Thailand for a little while, and that was just amazing. We were literally on completely different time zones, but with technology, you can do this all over the world pretty much. So pretty amazing. If you're interested in that, go ahead and click the link down in the description, and you can get set up with some one-on-one Zoom lessons. I look forward to helping you grow your skills to the next level. Number 10 is practice and pray. At this point, you've done all that you can to prepare administratively, putting together the concert, the set list. Now the important thing is that you are prepared with your part as well. This year, we actually have like 18 songs, which is probably too many. So we may have to cut 1 or 2. But the idea is it's a lot of songs no matter who you are, a lot of material to learn. So I have to make sure that I'm prepared in all of my piano parts, as well as helping others, because you can't really help the other people learn if you're not even sure of your part. So putting in the work ahead of time is huge as the leader to set the standard. The key is to practice, and also don't forget to pray, since that at the end of the day, this isn't about you. This is about the King of Kings and celebrating his birth. Now, the cool thing about these Christmas concerts is it is also a good chance to bring in visitors and people that may not come to your church normally, and you want to make an environment that's welcoming, and you want your best presentation to happen so that way you can honor God in all that you do. So those are just my top 10 Christmas concert planning items. I've done this for a few years, and those are just some things that I've gone to help keep me sane in this process. Let me know if you have any other ideas. I'm sure there's a lot of things that I missed, but go ahead and comment below on some other ideas that you use to help plan your Christmas concerts. It's one of my favorite times of the year, and I really enjoy putting these types of things on. And so I just want to say thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy this video. Be blessed and have a Merry Christmas.